What is going on, guys? Eric here from Leviathan Gaming, surrounded by my good friend. We got Matt Campbell. What's going on, Matt?
What's going on?
We are talking Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Today.
We've both seen it.
It's been a while, but we both have seen Doctor Strange and figured we should talk about it. A lot happened in that movie.
You think you know how the world works. You think that this material universe is all there is.
Trailer playing.
But what if I told you the reality you know is one of many?
So,
this doesn't make any sense.
First of all,
Not everything has to, Doctor Strange. Through the mystic arts,
if you thought Inception was
we
cool,
harness
this,
energy and shape
Like,
reality.
look at that.
The art
The
style.
Avengers protect the world from physical dangers.
Yeah.
We safeguard it against more mystical threats.
Shape
I'm with you.
shift scenes and like
You'll die protecting this world, Mr. Doctor. Mr. Doctor, it's
But
strange.
yes,
Maybe.
it
Who am I
was
to
really,
judge?
really good. I don't even know where
I know. So, all right. First of all, the plot of the movie
Doctor Strange.
is Dr. Stephen Strange,
think you
played
know
by
how
Benny
the
Noodle
world
Cucumber
works?
Patch.
That's not his actual name.
What if
Close.
I told you
Close.
the reality
It is
you know
actually
is one of
Benedict
many?
Butter Biscuits. So the plot of this movie is
This
he is
doesn't
a
make any
neurosurgeon, and
everything does.
he's it. He's the best,
Not
and
everything has
he's a douche about it.
Yes.
Yeah, like he just knows he's the best. He's like,
Through
oh,
the
you
mystic
didn't
arts,
solve that problem? Well, that's because I
we
wasn't doing it.
harness energy
You should have called me.
and shape
No, that's
reality.
exactly what
Like,
happened too.
he has a huge ego. I mean, there's literally a scene in the beginning of the movie where
Honestly,
he-
worse than Iron Man. Ego-wise, I think.
ego-wise,
How did you
maybe
get
about
at
the
first.
same. At first, maybe about the
But then he
same.
kind of does change.
He does change for
Better or
reasons. Yeah, but like
But is he
there's a
ready?
scene in the beginning where he's going to the ER and talking with one of his nurse friends. Apparently they used to be an item or whatever. They used to have a relationship of some sort.
Yeah.
And this guy, one of his colleagues, is going to, harvest organs or whatever. He's like, this guy's done for. He's dead. I'm gonna go harvest
Oh,
organs.
that's the scene. Close, buddy,
He's an organ donor, so I'm gonna get some organs out of him. And Stephen Strange is like,
I've spent so many years.
no, you're a moron.
like he's still alive.
He's still alive
Yeah.
because he said some medical mumbo jumbo.
looking.
Something crazy intelligent. He's like, there's a thing right here on his body that you didn't check for. And then, ooh, he's alive.
an air bubble.
There's an air pocket. You gotta squeeze it out. Like when you put the Gorilla Glass in your phone, you gotta press it out. No. But basically, the guy thought he was dead, and Stephen Strange was like, no, he's alive, and he brought the guy back to life. So he's very, very good neurosurgeon, but he is like crazy huge ego, and the whole thing with his character is he
He gets in a wreck.
gets in a wreck.
Which that wreck was so intense.
Yeah. I mean, that's the wreck right there. But what he's doing is he's looks like, where are they at? They're in California, right? I mean,
I
he
believe
was
so.
he was like driving in a purple Lamborghini down the side of a mountain,
And it flipped.
And
And
he
it
just-
rolled.
he doesn't even care. He's bobbing and weaving in and out of traffic on the side of a mountain. He like looks down for a
You're a
second
man
and just
looking at the
he
world
veers
through a
off
keyhole.
to the side and goes in the water, and it's really bad.
You
And
spent your
the
life trying to widen
the
it.
main thing of his character, like who he is, he
Your work
loses
saved the lives of thousands.
His hands.
he loses
Like
his
his-
What if I
hands. He
told you
loses all muscle and
that
functionality
reality
of his
is one of
hands.
many?
Like that right
And
there.
he's slowly and he's so frustrated and mad. 'Cause he's like, I've been trying everything. I've lost all my money. I have no more money left. I've been paying people to
You
try
wonder what I see in
and
your
do
future?
experimental surgeries to try and heal my hands.
Possibility.
And then he hears about this guy when he's going to therapy to try, get it back, right? Muscle therapy and whatnot. And this guy tells him when he's like,
there are other ways.
He says to the guy, he's getting so frustrated. And he's like, am I ever really going to get, feeling in my hands back? This is just stupid. And he tells him, well, there's this guy that I was with who got in the car, or he got shot, or I forget what happened. He lost his legs. He was paralyzed from the waist down, and we were, he said I was working with the guy for at least a year, and then or whatever, and then he said, the guy just stopped showing up one day, and I didn't see him for like 3 years, and then one day I was walking down the side of the street, and I saw him walk past me. So, but he does some digging. He goes to find the guy, and he finds the guy at a basketball court or whatever. Basketball with his buddies, and he's like, "How did you do it? How the heck did you get your legs back? Did you tape it?"
Come with me.
It was some weird name.
It was not in the States. It was somewhere across the pond, maybe in China or
more like kind of like a Morocco.
Strange.
Yeah, it was
basically with the monks.
Yeah,
legit monks.
it was like a Comertage is what the place was called.
That sounds like
Comertage. I think it was.
We're gonna go with
Comertage.
that.
We're gonna say Comertage, and so the guy told him that I went to this place called Comertage, and he said he trained with them like physical therapy. He's like physical therapy, and then all of a sudden my legs healed, and he's like, just by
through the mystic arts,
you doing therapy and whatever, and I forget how the conversation went exactly, but he said if you go here and do this, it's rough. It's really rough. Like, you're gonna be in for it if you go here. Lo and behold, you find out that this is where they train the magicians and whatnot. This is where he becomes who he is.
He was very skeptical at first with the whole the magic and stuff.
He was. I mean, he was such.
He was such an asshole. And
he
then,
was.
Like, with what's her name? Ancient one?
The Ancient
punches
One.
him into the actual, like...
It was so funny, because, like, all the way up until he finally experiences it for himself, he was an ass to everybody. Like, whatever, I don't believe in the power of chakra or faith. That's just stupid. And then, all of a sudden, she's just like...
Bail!
It's just, he goes into his... like cerebral mode or his spirit or whatever. He has like that out-of-body experience thing that they can do where he can, he can float around outside of his body, and he's just like,
what did you do to me?
What happened? And I just want to say, I didn't see the movie in 3D, but
I want to see it in 3D.
The scene that happens when she does it, because she basically sends him flying through space and time on an out-of-body experience, and he's just freaking out.
Yeah, he's just like, what?
And then it's just like what you see in like the first trailer they showed. He's just like, teach me. Just
teach
what
me.
was that? Teach me.
That other second out-of-body experience when they were fighting surrounding the girl, like that was so funny. Like just very subtle, like stuff's moving and she's freaking out, like what's happening here?
So yeah, To put it simply, he's a neurosurgeon, car wreck, lost his hands, trains to become Doctor Strange. Kind of gets feeling back in his hand. I mean, he's
somewhat, yeah.
By the end of the movie, he did stop shaking his hands at the very end of the movie. I think he was just
You're
like,
a man looking at the world through a keyhole.
Or did he? Right? I can't remember.
I don't think that's it. I think they said the ancient one even said like you can do that.
Yeah.
Or you can have the power to do more stuff. I think he chose
the lives of thousands.
to actually,
What if I
because he
told
said
you
if the ancient one said like if you focus your mind energy you can do that. That's what the guy did to fix it back.
Right.
But then he lost all the power to like do different things.
Yeah, like
because that was like in the middle point of the movie where he was debating whether or not to get into this fight.
Right.
And then all that stuff happened with the they were basically trying to attack the temple.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were trying to attack the temples, and then he just kind of stopped.
Why are you doing this?
Kind of got into that fight.
Yeah.
But when he found his cape, that was the funniest thing ever.
So much
He was trying to grab the ass to capture the dude.
Yeah.
And the cape was pulling him back. He's like, no!
That's another thing to note. His cape was
had a mind of his own. Like,
yeah, but one thing to note is it's what's called a relic. So everybody has their thing. They're like all the big magicians or whatever that have come out of Kamertage. They have what's called relics. So they have these items that have chosen them. And the relic that chose Doctor Strange was the cloak of levitation.
The reality you know.
So he can fly and do other things. The cape has a mind of its own. Pretty fun. Yeah. So his cape is like iconic. That's why when you think Doctor Strange is the cape is actually like that is his thing.
And shape reality.
As far as the enemy, I think he was cool.
Yeah,
but I
think he was cool idea, but it just really didn't feel like a huge threat.
I feel like he was another one of those villains where it's like we're doing a superhero movie, we have to have a villain.
It's strange.
The real villain, which I'm glad.
Oh man, I can't believe they added him.
I'm glad they put Dormammu in the movie, but at the same time, Dormammu is a huge villain in the Marvel universe, and he's just like some sentient being. He has another form.
Yeah.
He is. He does take the form of like an embodied person. But he is.
But I love the fact that they didn't tone him down. He was powerful. Doctor Strange was not going to beat him.
Right. Yeah.
And he used it, and he knew that,
yeah.
and he used it against him. Like
right.
That's what the coolest thing was.
Right. And he did. His medallion, the eye of whatever it was called, it was an eye where he was like,
That's where he was like basically reversing time.
And that is one of his powers. Like he found out how to control time, and they were like, that is an extraordinarily forbidden power to use. And I don't even know how you were capable of doing that in the first place. But
he's just like, oh, I just read it.
Yeah, it's like I read it. I just did it. Like.
There's a strength.
But is he ready?
But basically, when he was in the fight with Dormammu, he was like, I can't beat you, but I can keep reversing time, and I can relive this moment over and over and over. I'm basically just going to annoy you. So, yeah.
In pain.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else to mention. Oh yeah, it was funny. I never think of this the first time I'm seeing a Marvel movie. But Infinity Stone, they're in all of them.
Oh yes.
The Infinity War is going to happen, and then they finally just subtly said it like, yeah, we don't need an Infinity Stone, out like walking around like that. Just put it back so there's the green Infinity Stone.
It was funny because I was wondering if that was an Infinity Stone the entire time, and they were just like, oh yeah, an Infinity Stone. I'm like,
if I was like, I know. It's just like I looked at my girlfriend like,
like that was like such a nice subtle thing too. I'm like, oh,
so
sweet.
I'm like, okay, there it is. So that's the stone that controls time. The green stone controls time. Which that's another thing to note when Infinity War happens. Like each stone does a different thing. But yeah. So all around, really good movie. I really liked it. Now, the post-credits scene. The post-credits scene was awesome. Just two dudes talking, and you don't know who it is at first, and the guy is just like, so, there's magicians now on Earth. So that's the thing. Or wizards. He's like, so there's wizards on Earth now. they show Doctor Strange talking to whoever it is. They pan the camera over and he's talking to Thor, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I didn't know what was going on at first.
Yeah.
He says, so.
Like you're looking for.
He's like you're looking for somewhere. He says he's like Loki is like he's a threat. The dude had an Infinity Stone and he took over New York City. Like can't have that.
He was looking for Odin.
And he's like, well, yeah, I'm on Earth looking for Odin right now. He's like, I'm looking for my father, and he's like, okay, so you're looking for your father, and okay. So if I help you, will you and Loki go back? Once you find Odin, will you guys go back to Valhalla? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, okay,
let's go.
Let's go.
So he's like, what? He's gonna be in like.
So that was just like, oh my god, he's gonna be in Ragnarok.
And then that's the thing. They held that secret.
Yeah, they did.
That was good.
They did.
Because I'm like,
no
what?
idea.
He's gonna be in Ragnarok?
Like there wasn't a single screenshot or
no
hint,
leak, nothing that he's gonna be in Ragnarok. And all of a sudden you watch and you're like, what? Now I really gotta watch Ragnarok.
Oh, it's gonna be like they're gonna make an insane duo, like the
God
of
really
Thunder
cool.
and a wizard who controls time, which I don't know if they're gonna. I'm guessing they would.
He may pull out the Infinity Stone. I think.
I don't know.
You think you
Maybe
know how the
Star-Lord's
world
got one.
works.
Yeah.
You think that this material universe
Guardians of the Galaxy
is
2.
all there is. But what if I told you that reality
Can't wait for that.
Oh
We'll have
my
a
gosh,
reaction
like-
for that too.
Oh man, I love Guardians of the Galaxy.
But yes, highly recommend going to see this if you have not seen this yet.
It was good.
It was a good movie.
It was really good. I liked it.
If you guys have any thoughts or theories about the movie, definitely leave it in the comments below. Maybe something like this that you
The
guys
Avengers
enjoyed.
protect the world
Definitely,
from physical
just
dangers.
shoot in the comments.
We
we'll
safeguard
be
it
sure to
against
respond
more
to that.
mystical threats.
And as always, make sure to subscribe below, and have a great one.